Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Pursuit of Purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have with us a very special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Cedric Palmer, go by the name of Peasy.
Peasy.
Yeah.
Is that a capital P for the Peasy? Heck yeah, man. How'd you get that nickname?
People call me CP for my initials, and then it just turned into Peasy, but based off my last name.
Okay.
I used to rap, so it was my rap name.
What kind of rap was it?
Hip hop.
Just standard rap, yeah. No special niche.
It was trap music.
Trap music. Okay.
Trap music.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, from where I come from, that's rapping your life, stuff that you see, experience, stuff like that. So the name stuck with me.
Yeah. So you said where I come from.
Yeah.
Where did you come from?
So I grew up off Magnolia in the North End.
Okay.
Born and raised. And it's considered the hood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's considered the hood. So I come from the hood, from the streets, and when you're in a certain kind of environment, you kind of gotta adapt to your environment. So
somewhat, yes, sir.
Yeah. So a lot of things that I did back then, I really didn't have to do, but it's just adapting to your environment. And sometimes you get good at certain things, and then you keep doing it.
All right. Well, what was home life like for you as a child? Since you said you was on the north side in Magnolia, in the hood. So what was it like in your childhood home?
My childhood, it was great. Like I was raised by my grandparents, grew up in church, went to church on Wednesdays, Sundays, vacation Bible school, like all that, So I grew up in the church. I come from a church background. My grandparents, they fairly older. My grandmother is in her 90s. My grandfather in his 90s. But
still got them both with you.
Yeah, they both here.
Wow.
So blessed to still have them.
Yeah.
And my grandfather gave me a lot of game and knowledge. He used to sell barbecue in the North End. He used to go to all the beauty shops and barber shops and leave with no money, come back $400-$500 with no food.
Come on.
So that kind of. That's what my niche, that's what my niche come from. Seeing him do that, and I'm like, hey, my grandfather, he at the time he was like 60 something, and he not working for nobody. He doing this. I'm like, dang, he coming home with a lot of money.
So you picked up that entrepreneurial spirit from your grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very inspirational.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what was discipline like? With your grandparents as a child?
They stayed on me.
Did they whoop that booty?
All the time, man. Because I was kind of I wasn't a bad child, but kind of like a class clown. I like to crack jokes.
I might be able to relate to that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was never disrespectful to my elders and stuff like that. But I like to have fun, stuff like that. So I was always getting in trouble at home. That to this day now, my grandmother tell me all the time, we didn't used to whoop you because they let my kids get away with so much. I'm like, come on, man, y'all used to tear me up, Like,
that's awesome.
But that's a good thing though, because it instilled a lot in me.
Was it just you, or were there other kids around?
Well, my cousins.
Okay.
My cousins.
Okay.
So they raised you and your cousin?
They
were just around.
They were just around.
Oh, okay.
So, but my cousins say that I had it better because I was the baby.
Of course, you were the favorite.
But it'd be times when my cousin would be getting a whooping and I'm laughing because I'm goofy like that. And then my grandfather, I'm going to give you something to laugh about. And I end up catching a whooping. So
just for laughing.
Just for laughing. So, but I appreciate them being on me like that.
So y'all still close, you and your cousins?
Yeah, all of them.
How did you wind up being with your grandparents, if you don't mind me asking? How did you wind up?
My mom passed away at childbirth.
Okay.
And they just adopted me.
Okay.
And so
what about your father?
He wasn't around.
Okay.
We I want to say maybe 3 years ago, we connected,
Really?
Yeah, we talked. I got a sister that I just met, I want to say maybe 3-4 years ago. And we became real close. Once I found out she was my sister. But my grandparents was my parents pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you got the privilege of being raised by some, as we call them, old school.
Yeah, with a lot of
people with a lot of wisdom. And
Mm-hmm.
they themselves possessed a lot of discipline, high character, high moral standards.
Yeah.
What church did y'all?
First Full Gospel Baptist Church on Pine Street. I'm still a member over there. Don't go as much as I need to. I'm so busy, but Pastor Vernon Tubbs, that's my pastor, and Yeah, I grew up in the church house.
That is
I used to
awesome.
play the drums at church.
So you know how to hold your finger up when you got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Old school stuff. Yeah,
it's funny. You can always tell people who were raised in old school church.
Yeah.
Like we'll hold a meeting at an employer somewhere or something like that, and somebody will have to sneak out, and you'll see them stick their finger up when they're walking out of the meeting. That cracks me up. So,
That's awesome.
did you have any siblings? You talked like you were an only child.
I was the only child.
Your raising.
I was the only child besides my cousins.
Okay.
So we was a close knit family. So we was always together. Like my cousins are more like brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we all come up together, and it was all boys. It was no girls. I have some girl cousins, but like as far as my first cousins, they was all boys. And so, but we all came up like brothers.
So back then, like when you were a kid, was mealtime a big thing? Did y'all eat together and stuff?
We did, especially during the holidays. And then, anytime we was out of school, everybody go to my grandmother's house. I'm already there. So everybody, my grandmother she cooked 3 meals a day.
Come on.
She did that until my grandmother is 94. She just stopped cooking on a regular when she hit about 89, 90.
I was going to ask if she's still cooking. I was going to ask what the schedule is, who's going to work towards how can I get the invite, that kind of thing.
Yeah, she don't do it now because she's not mobile no more. She can't really get around no more. But all the way up until she was about 89, my grandmother would cook breakfast, lunch, dinner every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, who is 18 now, he was over there a lot. So when he get out of school, since I always work for myself, I would drop him over there, go back to doing whatever I'm doing, and he loved going over there because he liked rice and gravy. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother, every single day when he out of school, she got either some smothered pork chops, some smothered chicken, something with some rice and gravy because she know that my son wants some rice and gravy.
I'm envisioning one of those good old gas stoves. Yeah.
That black cast iron.
You watch the flame. There's no thermostat.
Yeah, at all.
And she knows just how to put. Yeah,
that's exactly what they got. They got the gas burning stove.
I can smell it. I can smell the whole kitchen, man. It's making me hungry. So I'm gonna guess that a lot of the people in your family were in shape if you call round a shape.
Pretty much. And that's where I got my cooking ability from, which birthed it, Truth Lounge and Bistro.
Okay.
And the food truck that I got now. It was because of my love of I call it freestyling. My grandmother taught me a whole lot in the kitchen, and then I just go put my little twist on stuff. And a lot.
That's amazing.
Everybody that know me, they be like, man, Peasy could cook, so. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, that's where that comes from.
That is great. Yeah. So how did you do in school? Like coming up through elementary school and the middle school and then high school, how were you as a student?
All the way up to high school, I was straight A's and B's.
Come on.
I got to high school, and that's when I want to say the class clown thing kind of kicked in a little bit.
Started developing a personality.
Yeah. But I was in the band. Shout out to Mr. Carl Collins. That was the band director.
What'd you play?
I played bass drum.
Come on.
So I was in the drum line.
He was thumping.
And when we started the kind of band that we turned into, which was a show band, we was the first ones in Southeast Texas to be a show band. Central. I want to say it was year 99 is when Mr. Collins came.
Okay.
And so I passed. I made sure I did enough to pass
so that you could keep playing.
So I could keep playing.
Okay.
And school just really wasn't ever my niche. I'm not dumb by far.
No, I don't.
Real intelligent, but it's like biology and chemistry and science. I'm like, what am I gonna need this for in life? I know how to read. I know how to write. I know how to do math. You know what I'm saying? So I did enough to get by. I didn't make D's, but I was B's and high C's. Very, get A's every blue moon, but I made sure that I passed because I wanted to be every game, be able to play. And then after football season, there's marching season, so I wanted to go to the parades and stuff. So you got to make sure you pass because if you're not passing, you ain't playing.
Right.
So that kind of indicates that if you were in the band and you were, even though you describe it as though you were making mediocre grades, you were paying enough attention that you passed.
Yeah.
That kind of lends it to the thought that you probably weren't hanging around with the bad kids.
Not really. The band was kind of like a family within itself. And Mr. Collins he taught us a lot. That dude don't get enough recognition for what he did in Southeast Texas with teaching and stuff. But he taught us a lot. And so the way I grew up at the time when I came up, it was you from the north side, you from the south side. And if you're from the north side and you end up going to the south side, you could get into it with people and vice versa. But in the band, they had people that was from the north side and the south side. But we didn't look at it like that because we weren't family in the band. So I've gotten into it with people from my own neighborhood behind, looking out for somebody that was from the other side, just because it's like, nah, that's my family.
Isn't that the silliest thing, man?
Yeah, it was. I mean, now it's different now. It's a whole lot different now.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's people from the South End I do business with on the regular and vice versa, and a lot of, we are older now, so back then we was young and dumb, but, now we're a whole lot older, so we make more wiser decisions and stuff. And I wish the younger generation that's coming up now, because they a whole lot more treacherous than how it was when I was coming up. But they just need a little more guidance. They need more to do. When we was coming up, we didn't have the iPhones and the tablets, and we was outside playing. And I had older people that came up before me that kind of try to push us in the right direction to do better than what they did. And that's what we doing now. I preach to my son and his friends all the time, like, hey, look, don't be doing this, don't be doing that. So, but it's just not enough of us to try to steer everybody in the right direction.
So you mentioned Mr. Collins from the band, and you mentioned him educating you about life. And we talk a lot about sports, and we talk a lot about people who give us mentoring and life lessons. Can you imagine any better way to have gained those type of lessons other than through a vocational teacher like Mr. Collins?
Man, that dude was great.
Isn't that a powerful position? Like, those people that are in those positions, like coaches, band directors, cheer coaches, those people don't realize what an enormous influence they have on our community.
A big one.
And you're living proof of that. And I appreciate that you honor him in that way.
Yeah. And we still talk to this day.
That is amazing.
I think I forgot what he had, but he a band director somewhere right now. This dude has gotten the most first place trophies out of any band director. They just gave him some kind of presidential honor, some kind of presidential honor thing that they just gave him about a month ago. But the dude, like, he changed a lot of our lives coming up. Like, and he realized it. He know.
Sure.
He know. I tell him all the time. I was like, man, Mr. C, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have been doing.
So it wasn't really about the music. What looking back now, you're a dad, what do you think he was trying to instill in the young people?
So it's a lot. So he wanted to show us about, being a family, sticking together. On Thursdays, he would make us dress up. With, like, you had to wear a tie, you had to wear like a button-down shirt, some slacks. Yeah. Every Thursday. Game day was Friday. But like stuff like that, he taught us, like, being men and being women, because the girls had to wear like a dress, the boys had to wear a shirt and tie, stuff like that. So and if you didn't know how to tie, a lot of people learned how to tie because of Mr. Collins.
That's amazing.
Go to the band hall and because you'll get in trouble. You're not gonna march Friday if you didn't dress up right. And then some people some of us could. Well, I'm not gonna say some of us, but some of the students couldn't afford ties and certain stuff. Mr. Collins grab stuff for them. And hey, look, if you ain't got a tie, come to the band hall. I'm gonna get you one, or stuff like that. But the dude, man, that he's a great teacher. He was a great teacher, life teacher.
He was a mentor.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I used to go in his office and just sit down and just, talk to him about different stuff. Like, if I get in trouble in one of my classrooms or whatever, and he'll get on me. Like, man, CP, look, you can't be doing that. And you know what I'm saying? I was kind of popular in high school. So a lot of the people, like, followed me, looked up to me, stuff like that. So it was a few times. We had a battle one time, I never forget. And from the other school, they had got into it with one of my colleagues that was in the band, and we was about to get into a fight. And so when the rest of the band heard about it, they all came downstairs. So when we got back to the band hall, Mr. Collins was in there, he going off on us. And then I went in the office with him. I say, Mr. C, you the one told us we supposed to stick together like a family, and all that stuff. And so he sat there, he looked at me, he say, CP, you right. Get your ass out my house. Don't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? But he basically, he instilled that in us though. Yes. Like he instilled like look out for each other.
Yeah. You know what I hear you saying, and this is amazing. He knew how to connect with you.
Yeah. 100%.
And then he knew how to teach you to connect with each other.
100%.
That's powerful.
That is. And things like band, sports, whatever, with a good teacher like that, people like that teach us that there are always things bigger than us. We just contribute to the bigger thing.
That's
and
right.
In that case, it was everything, because as bands, I've had kids involved with that.
Yeah.
There's goals for the year.
Yeah.
And some years are competition years, some years are off years, but you can still, but if there's a goal, there's something to aspire to, then to get, as you're describing, that teenage mind to focus on that, but not as often as we do as men. We were just kids.
Yeah.
But if he can get it on a rhythm, man, he can get things accomplished. And that's pretty cool.
One thing that he taught me that stuck with me my whole entire life was when you compete or when you're trying to be something, be the best at it, and always go for first place, because if not, you're just second place is first place loser.
That's right.
That's what he used to always tell us. Like when we go to competition, we got out of my whole year, 4 years, we got second place once. And we were still happy, but he was like, what y'all out here smiling and happy about? He like, y'all just first place losers. He like, who remember second place?
I love it.
Who remember that? So, and it stuck with me my whole entire life. As an adult, it just stuck with me. Like, I want to always be the best. I don't want to be first place loser. I want to be first place, so that was one of the things that always stuck with me in the life that he told us, because he drilled that in us. Whoa. Like, we going out here and getting first place. We ain't about to be first place losers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you had Mr. C coming through high school. How many years were you?
I was up under him for 3 years, because my first year I wasn't in the band. He wasn't there.
Okay.
So I actually went. I was in the band, but I wasn't marching and participating until he came. And he actually was the one that persuaded me to participate, because I was still taking the class. And he was like, "You gonna march?" And I'm like, "Nah, I ain't marching." He's like, "Come on, man." So he talked me into it, and I marched, and I'm glad I did.
He saw potential.
Yeah, I'm glad I did.
So when you graduated high school, what was it like for you? What did you do then? Did you get a job? What did you do then? What was your next step?
So when I graduated, that was in 2002. My grandmother forced me to go to college. I went to LIT for a year for computer A+ certification. It was computer something. Mm-hmm. And I got my A+ certification, and I applied for a job at Best Buy. I didn't get it. And then I was like, man, I ain't about to get no job. So I just started, the first business that I started was CP Discount Audio, selling car audio and stuff like that.
Okay.
And my last job was because of my grandmother, she used to always tell me, you need to go get a job. You ain't about to just be running around here rapping and out. I had a studio, and she's like, you ain't about to be around here just rapping and doing all this. You need to go get a job. So I went and got a job just to shut her up, and I worked at West. It was called West at the time.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
I worked there in 2002. And then I did overnight stocking in 2002 at Walmart for like 2 weeks. And just working for somebody, it just never worked for me. And so I just turned to hustling and rapping, and that's what worked for me. And after a while, the hustle part played out, and I had a talk with God, and I was like, I'm done with that part of my life. And I started doing legit businesses, and they was all prosperous, and which got me to CloudPonics, which is like a full circle.
So I'm gonna be a little bit prying, okay? I'm gonna stick something in there and pick around a little bit. For our audience, some people may not know what you mean. Okay? What's hustling?
So I never sold hard drugs ever in my life.
Okay.
But weed, marijuana. That everybody, well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people indulge in it.
Pretty common.
Yeah. And when I started, it wasn't because I was trying to get rich, it's because I was rapping, and me and my partners, we used to smoke. And we were smoking so much, and I'm like, man, we spending too much money on smoking weed. We need to be able to smoke for free. So that's how it started. It was like, okay, I'm gonna just buy some.
It was a trade.
Yeah, we're gonna sell it. Exactly.
Okay.
And then when I come to the realization, like, I'm pretty good at this. I'm making money that I wasn't expecting to make. And when I started calculating everything, I'm like, dang, I'm making a whole lot of money. I'm gonna just start doing
this. This may be the way to go.
And so that's what I started doing. I started doing that, and I had a team, and that's what we was doing. And by the grace of God, we never got in any major trouble. I always had a good legal team, and that's what I did. And I rapped, and then I got in a little trouble. And when I got in that trouble, like I said, I had to talk with God, and I was like, God, you just get me out of this. We all have done it.
Show me the way, Lord.
Just get me out of this, and I'm never gonna do it. So, and I had that talk with him, and I got out of that situation, and then I started my t-shirt shop, my custom printed t-shirt shop, and I stayed away from it up until CloudPonics.
Okay,
that's why I say full circle, because I went to a legal way of doing what I used to do illegally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there were some other things that happened in the meantime and in between times. Yeah. Okay. So based on what I know about you through casual conversation, you have had multiple entrepreneurial pursuits. Mm-hmm. So draw us a timeline. So you graduate high school. So you get into a few different odd jobs because of grandma.
Yeah.
And then, or to keep her happy.
Yeah.
And then you learn that you're better at working for yourself and being in business for yourself through the hustle game. Yeah. And you're doing your rap thing. But during those times headed towards CloudPonics, you had some other adventures.
So
tell us about that. Draw the timeline.
I think the first thing I did was the CP discount audio, because at the time they call it Bang. With the speakers and stuff, it was a big thing in Beaumont. Pop and Bang, Candy, all that stuff. So me and a real good friend of mine, T. Smith, who was a licensed electrician now. At the time, we was hooking up radios and alarms and all kind of stuff. We were doing custom trunks, all that. So I went and got a tax ID. Went on not hard when it was Sheldon Road to a spot. I used to buy speakers and stuff wholesale, come back to Beaumont and resell it. So that was the first venture that I did. After that, I was in the street selling shoes, clothes, stuff like that. I would get wholesale and come out and resell it. Just I always was selling stuff. Like I said, anything. So the first real business that I had was I want to say it was the Too Easy Custom Prints, which was my custom t-shirt shop.
Okay.
And when I did that same year, I started Black Box Media, which if you heard of IPTV service, at the time it was Cody. And you get all the movies and stuff for free on the boxes. So I started, Black Box Media is still around. I got a lot of resellers now, but we sell the cable service, basically, where you get all the channels for a discounted rate. And you just got to have internet for it to work. Mm-hmm. So that was one of my things as well. And then I started doing taxes in 2010. A guy by the name of Charles Miles and Associate Tax Service, he brought me under his wing. He showed me the game of doing taxes, taught me how to do them. At first, it was a hustle. Because at first he was like, Peasy, just go get me people, and I'm going to give you this amount of money for each person that you bring to me.
Just a commission.
Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, cool, free money. So I started bringing them people. And then one day I was like, man, show me how to do this. Show me. And so he sat down at the computer, showed me what he knew. And he was like, go get a PTN number. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I started doing taxes, and I've been doing taxes since 2010. I don't think I'm going to do them this year coming up because I got so much other stuff going on. But the taxes helped me a lot. I used that money to reinvest. And then the t-shirt thing was real big, real big. I was making a lot of money with that. Yeah.
So all of that led up from the t-shirts. Then you wound up in
CloudPonics. Yeah.
CloudPonics. So hold up your necklace where they can see it past it. Got that bling going. Yeah. Oh yeah, CloudPonics. So how did you wind up with this brand, and then how did you wind up with this? I'm going to call it a franchise opportunity. Tell us about that. Tell us how that materialized.
It came about because of my background. A friend of mine who stumbled across some CBD came to me one day, my partner, J.U., he came to me and said, bro, I got some stuff that look just like weed, but it's legal and it get you high. And I was like, man, gone. So he's like, no, I'm gonna bring some up there to you. So he brought it to the office. I looked at it, smelled it, all that, and I wasn't smoking. So I'm like, I don't know if it get you high. So I bought some. He told me the website that he got it from, and I went to that website and I bought a couple ounces. And I just called up people that I knew that smoked, and I gave it to them. I like, man, tell me what that's like. They like, oh, you about to get back at it? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just tell me what it's like. So they all hit me back. They like, man, it ain't the best, but I'm high. So I'm like, okay.
It worked.
So then I started researching it. And I'm like, let me look into this. So I looked into it for about maybe 2 months. Asked some questions to the legal team, my attorneys. They gave me the green light, basically saying like, it's legal, but it's not. But federally it is. So if you get in trouble, you really can't get prosecuted and stuff like that. So the way I looked at it was like, okay, I took big chances my whole life. If this is a chance where I could do this and I really can't go to jail, then I'm going to do it. So when I started, it was strictly CBD. And I started in 2019. Okay. I think January 2019. And it took off. I was the first one in the Golden Triangle. I want to say I was like one of the first ones in Texas because it was legal December of 2018. I started, I think, January of 19, and Greg Addick signed off on it, I think, February of 19. So I started before.
You were cutting edge.
Yeah, I started before the state even signed off on it to legalize it. So I was the first one. We've been on the news several times because of that. And then we found a niche to be able to sell THC that actually gets you high.
Okay.
And when I did that took off. And people still skeptical now and think that it's fake or sprayed or stuff like that, but it's not. It's just a niche in the law, and it's the way you test it, the way it's grown, stuff like that. And so now I went from one location in a little bitty office space to now we're at, I want to say 13 that are open with another 8 that's about to come online. So we're in the Golden Triangle. We got like 10 stores in Houston. We got like 5 in Austin. We got 2 in San Antonio, and we steady expanding.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So I'm going to go all the way back. We're going to go way back. Okay. Not really. What does your grandma think about what you do?
So at first, she didn't like it. See, my grandfather is more open. I talked to my grandfather about everything. Even when I was hustling, I told my grandfather everything. Because my grandfather, me and him had the relationship. He told me, hey, don't ever lie to me. As long as you don't lie to me, I'm always have you back. Because if you lie to me and you make me look stupid,
then we got problems.
He's like, so don't ever lie to me. So my grandfather always knew what was going on. My grandmother, she hated it at first. But, I got the relationship with my grandma where I tell her not everything because she'll worry. But she was like, no, you don't need to be doing it. You don't need to be doing it. So she was mad about it at first. And then when she went to church, my pastor found out what I was doing. And one day she was at church and she said the pastor announced that I had stuff that was good for like chronic pains and stuff. So when she heard the pastor talking about it, she was like, oh, okay, well, well he's not doing nothing that he don't need to be doing.
He converted the pastor, hooked you up. That is awesome.
So love my pastor to death. He real great dude. But my grandmother, she didn't like it at all at first. Yeah. Now, and she still tell me that she tell me I work too much. And my grandmother is like, at first she used to tell me, you need to get a job. Then now I'm working for myself. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. I'm like, they ain't gonna pay what I'm making. You know, I can't. The only thing I go work at the plant, but I'm gonna have to do some hard work, and I'm still not gonna get paid what I'm making. But now she understand now. She understand now. She just tell me that I do too much stuff. Yeah,
no matter what you do, she's always going to be looking out for you and trying to protect you from everybody else and from yourself.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, my she's to death.
You've got a unique circumstance that you have a mom and a grandmother in the same lady.
Same lady, yeah.
So,
yeah, she stay on me too.
She gonna whoop your butt and give you cookies at the same time. So I mean, you kind of.
I got so tired of this week. I want to say it was, and she got mad at me because I hadn't been by there. So I went by yesterday and I said, what you been doing? She said, looking for you.
Oh,
I said, well, you ain't look good enough. But she stay on me, and if I go a day or two without talking to her, she go off on me, you know.
Well, I can tell that she loves you by hearing the way you describe her, and I can definitely tell that you love her. That's a strong relationship, and it is precious.
It is priceless.
I hope she gets to hear this episode, and I hope she enjoys it.
Yes, sir.
Hearing what a strong impact and bond that she's had with you.
So let's since more or less we're talking about parents, now you're a parent.
Yeah.
And how many children do you have?
I got two.
Two. Okay.
Son and a daughter.
Son, okay. And what's their age and range?
My daughter is 10, my son 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And are they here in the region? I know you you do travel some.
So my son actually worked for me at my Beaumont location.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to pass it down to him, keep his head right, and stuff like that.
I hope he's receptive.
He is. He is. I mean, he my son. He just like me. So you know.
Yeah.
But he going straight.
Good. Good deal. And then 10.
Yeah. So my daughter, she
good luck with that.
Right. All she knows is daddy. All she know. This girl still to this day at 10 years old. Sometimes I come home and she's like, daddy, and run to me and hug me. Like at 10 years old. Like so. Yeah, that's my baby. That's my heart. She a daddy's girl. She most definitely a daddy's girl.
Good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously with your grandparents, you got a lot to pass on.
Yeah,
and,
a whole lot.
And I'm sure just over time, just like they had to be patient with you. You have to be patient with them.
And I see now what my grandparents used to fuss at me about, like. Because my son, he'll be out, and he's not a problem child at all, but he'll be out 12, 1 o'clock. I'm like, Peasy, where you at? Like, get your butt home. Like, man, I ain't doing nothing. Like, just chilling. Like, but now I understand where my grandparents was coming from, because I used to do that. And my grandmother be up worrying about me, like where I'm at and all this. So now I'm starting. It's that karma. It's coming back on me.
Yes, yes, that's karma. So did I just catch he shares your nickname?
Yeah, we got the same name. He's a junior.
Hey, a junior. All right.
So he little Peasy. But he's 6'4". So
little Peasy.
Yeah, so everybody call him Big Peasy. They call me Little Peasy.
Come on, man.
But
my son and I the same way. He's 6'4".
Yeah,
and you see how tall I am. Real tall. So
it's
the saying. He's a junior too. I named him.
Yeah,
isn't that funny how that works?
You guys, man.
That is funny stuff.
Yeah,
I got a question for you. Are you a success?
I mean, I would think so. I'm not where I want to be, but
are you successful?
I am.
Okay.
I am, and I'm grateful to be able to come from where I come from to be at where I'm at right now. I never thought. I always thought that I would. Coming up, I wanted to be rich. You know what I'm saying? You see stuff on TV, and you want to be that on TV and stuff, which is why I was rapping and stuff like that. And I made money rapping and stuff too, but I always wanted to be rich. And then when I started making money, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to set this goal. And I hit that goal, and I'm like, and that ain't enough.
Right.
And I set another goal, and I surpass it. And I'm like, that still ain't enough. And it's like, I started asking myself, well, when is enough enough? Like when am I going to just stop? Like my people, they tell me all the time, you do too much. I'm like, well, I can't help it. And I can't help it. But I'm grateful for what God blessed me with, the knowledge that He gave me, knowledge my grandparents gave me, Mr. C. Like I'm grateful for all that, that I was able to utilize that in my life as an adult to get where I am in life right now. And like I said, I'm grateful for where I'm at, but I'm not where I want to be.
Okay.
I still feel like it's a lot more that I'm going to do in the future. I got some new business ventures.
I'm sure you do. I had a feeling you did.
Some new stuff. I mean, the food truck is going awesome. I sold a restaurant and went to a food truck to get rid of overhead, and the food truck has been doing awesome. My chef became my partner. We went in on the business together. Chef Jay makes some awesome food, So and we about to buy another food truck.
All right,
come on.
So it's doing real good.
Do you know who John D. Rockefeller was?
I heard that name, the Rockefeller.
So you got Rockefeller Center in New York. Yeah. He was one of the wealthiest men the world has ever known.
Okay, yeah.
He was in the oil business.
Yeah.
And someone asked him one time, he's a gazillionaire, whatever, okay? And they asked him, how much money is enough? You know what his answer was? He didn't even hesitate. Just a little more. Just a little more. But then they asked a follow-up question at another time. What does it mean to be successful, and what does wealth mean to you? And none of it had to do with money.
Yeah.
None of his answers had anything to do with money.
Yeah. I mean, and I could see that.
So success has very little to do with money.
Yeah.
And wealth is not measured in money.
Yeah. I can see that 100% because, yeah.
That's what your grandma was trying to tell you.
That's factual. That's very factual. Because, I mean, money can only... My attorney tell me all the time that no amount of money in the world can buy you an extra breath of life.
That's right.
No amount of money in the world can get you a drink of water if there's no water. Like you,
money doesn't bring value to life.
Yeah, it's just a tool.
That's it.
It's just a tool. So I don't really count my success based off of the amount of money that I've made. It's some things that I want to accomplish in my personal life that it don't got nothing to do with money. It's just where I want to be at.
That's admirable. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's where I want to be at. Because I'm good and I'm well off enough now to where I really could just sit back and retire and live off of what I've made. I'm in the stock markets. I'm in crypto. I'm in, different stuff like that. And I could live a comfortable life, but it's like now I'm trying to build something for my kids and with their kids when they have kids and stuff like that, trying to build an empire now. So that's more so where my grind comes from, of still grinding. I get tired all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time.
That's okay.
I'll be at home sometimes. I'll be like, man, I'm about to just stop. But then yesterday I asked my son, hey, if I buy your ice cream truck, you gonna put it to work? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get it. So it's just I just always be thinking of more ways to bring an income in. And the economy kind of crazy right now. So, we pandemic proof, and I feel like we recession proof too, because people will buy alcohol and smoke before they pay a light bill.
It's oftentimes very true. They'd rather escape their reality than deal with their responsibility.
That's just the way life works.
Yeah. Statistically, that is true. When economic times have been tough, some of the sales,
alcohol sales go up. That's right.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I made a lot of money because we didn't have to close.
Yeah.
Because they considered us an essential business. So
isn't that funny?
So me and my boy Devron Roberts, he owns Elite Phone Repair.
Okay.
And if you ever need a phone fixed, y'all go to 2215 Cloud Avenue. He fixed in and out 15, 20 minutes.
Come on.
15, 20 minutes. And so whenever the pandemic hit, he was able to stay open too because they considered him as an essential business. Because I guess they feel like everybody needs their phones and stuff. So the phone repair was considered an essential business. So we was in the same space. And he was open, I was open, and I was like, and we picked the right businesses to be in.
That's crazy.
But so we pandemic proof and we recession proof.
Well, congratulations on that.
I appreciate it.
That is amazing. So you went to school with a lot of people. You weren't unique in your academic situation.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of friends that you probably still have contact with.
Definitely.
Some of them, and we're not going to pick anybody out or pick on anybody, some of them aren't as successful as you. There's no doubt about that. In your mind, what separates a person who is successful from a person who is not?
So that's one of the things I try to preach to my son. Because when I was coming up, people felt like the person that make the straight A's or cum laude or whatever it is, top of the class and all that those are going to be the successful people. And like I had a few teachers that, I'm not going to say their names, but I had a few teachers when I was coming up and they was like, you're not going to be nothing. You're just a class clown. And not to, just throw nobody under the bus or nothing like that, but now I make more money than what they make. I make more money in a month than what they make in a year teaching. And it's not bragging or nothing, but it's like, that kind of fueled me a little bit. But I just feel like, in the world in general, everyone cannot be a boss. If everybody was a boss, the world wouldn't operate correctly. You have to have workers. So I mostly feel like it's God. Like everybody got the same 24 hours in a day.
That's right.
Some people are lazy, some people aren't. Some people want more, some people are content.
That's right.
I had a friend that I asked one day, I said, hey, would you pick love or money? Like, if you could be rich and have, I'm talking about the most money in the world, but you don't have the love of your life, would you rather that, or would you rather having the love of your life but struggling? And his words to me was, I picked the love because part of life is figuring out how to make ends meet. And I'm like, why do you think like that? Why would you think in your mind that living is trying to figure how to make ends meet? No, that's not how I want to live. Mm-hmm. But that goes to show you that some people's mindset is that they're content with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where it goes in that situation. Like, some people are just content. Some people content with going to work 40 hours a week at a job and coming home, having something to do. Like, they content with that.
They build a pattern around it, and they accept that.
Yeah, exactly. So I just was never, I'm not going to really say problem with authority, but when I was working at West, I got fired. Wasn't supposed to get fired, but I got fired because of the way a supervisor treated me and a friend compared to the people that were sitting next to us. And I went off and I got fired. And at Walmart, it was the same thing. Me and a good friend of mine, I call him my brother, BF, Brandon Funno. We was working at Walmart. We was overnight stockers. Mm-hmm. And the way the thing happened, they said every week they switch who bring the baskets in. But they was calling us to bring the baskets in for 3 weeks straight. And so in training, they told us that a manager should never ask of you nothing that they're not willing to do. And the manager name was Chris. I'll never forget him. His name was Chris. He was the manager at Walmart. And he called us to go bring the baskets in. And everybody went, and I stayed on the floor stocking. And when he seen me, he was like, hey, ain't you supposed to be bringing them baskets in? I said, man, it's pouring down raining out there. And we've been doing it 3 weeks in a row. I say, but if you come out here and help me, I go do it. He said, I ain't going out there, it's pouring down. I said, well, me neither. He said, well, you can clock out. I said, I'll let you. And I told him when I was going to clock out, I said, I ain't going to this job anyway. I was working over here getting my grandma off my back. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's like, and then after that, it's like, you know, I want more.
Yeah.
I want more. And I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I just wanted more. And, you know, they got people that work 9 to 5 that are successful. I got friends that work at 9 to 5 and they successful in life, you know, but they just choose to not be a business owner or entrepreneur. Because when you're a business owner and entrepreneur, you don't have what they call guaranteed money. But I also tell people that a job is not guaranteed.
Nobody has guaranteed money. That's right. Mm-hmm.
It's just that when you're an entrepreneur, you have to manage it better and save it because you don't know when the next check might come. But when you're working a 9 to 5, you kind of know when it's going to come as long as you got your job. Mm-hmm. You know,
but you are correct that being a business owner is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And you alluded, you had a good story. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to go back just a half a step or so. And at times when there have been setbacks, struggles, I'll even use the F word, failures, if you will. What have you discovered has been your best approach to, because they're going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, even though, you know, your business is successful, you know, you've been through enough of them to know some of them start to wane off and I need to be looking for the next thing instead of just, oh my goodness, it's falling apart. I'm failing. Not really.
Yeah.
But what has been your best approach to how that has happened through the years?
Well, so in the streets, they got a saying that says, you're not a boss if you never took a loss. That's a saying that they got in the streets.
That's very profound.
Yeah, you're not a boss if you never took a loss.
Yeah.
And so when I took my first huge loss, I just thought back at that. Like they say, in order to win, you have to fail first. Stuff like that. Like you fall, you got to get back up. All kind of stuff like that. But the main thing that stuck with me was, in order to be a boss, you got to take a loss. So when I and everything I've done hadn't been successful. But whenever I did take a loss, I just said, okay, well, this is what they was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and now that I'm to the point where I'm at right now, I'm like, I get it. And I just went through something with my CloudPonics business that costed me a lot of money. I took a huge loss, but then I was stressed out. I was super stressed out. But then I just sit back and say, okay, it's part of it. It's part of what happens. Like every rich person, every multimillionaire, every billionaire, Bill Gates, all these guys, they'll tell you they took losses. They take bigger losses. If you're a billionaire, you taking $100 million losses. You know what I'm saying? If you're a millionaire, you taking $100,000 losses. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're gonna take a loss. It's just what kind of loss you're gonna take.
If you're a thousandaire, you're gonna take $100.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all a matter of which plane you exist on.
Exactly. So you know,
it's gonna happen.
You're not gonna win.
So say that phrase, you get boss to loss.
In order to be a boss, you have to take a loss.
And in order to be a boss, you have to take a loss.
And then it's what are you gonna do after you take the loss?
Yes.
You gotta shake back.
How are you gonna reclaim?
See, I had on one of my reps a long time ago. I can't remember it verbatim, but I said something about have you ever lost it all, got it back, lost it all again, and then got it back? Because that's part of my life. Like I've been up super high,
right,
and fell all the way down to the ground.
Wow,
with $0 to my name, and then got it all back again, and then started going downhill again. Wow, and now I'm back on the incline. But it's like some people. I was having a conversation the other day, and I was like, just walk in my shoes for a week, and I guarantee you'll tap out. Wow, because of the stuff that I gotta go through that I'm dealing with, like stuff like that. Everybody not made for it. Some people get aggravated and they just tap out. Sure. You know what? This not for me. I'm gonna get a job.
And they get intimidated. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
And with me, it's just
or embarrassed.
Yeah. So there's got to be a courage factor.
Yeah. It's just like I say. I just feel like everyone's not meant to be that. Like you know, just like everybody's not meant to be a basketball player or football player. Like it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. Like everybody can be it. Number one, you got to have courage, because if you worked a 9 to 5 and you saved your money and you said, okay, hey, I want to do such and such, and it's going to cost me this amount of money, and I save that amount of money, now you got to have enough courage to spend that money.
That's right.
I'm taking a chance. You don't know if it's going to fail or not. You got to take the risk. Right. So, and a lot of people aren't willing to take the risk. When I started CloudPonics, I started it with $10,000. And it wasn't all that I had, but that's just all like that I needed to start it. And it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. But I never look at failure as an option. It's like I'm gonna make it work. I put the 10,000 up, and I ain't looked back ever since. By the grace of God, I've been very successful in CloudPonics. So that was my niche. And if I wouldn't have done CloudPonics, I would have just went full fledged with my printing company, because at the time, you know, I was making maybe 10, 12,000 a month profit just printing shirts. And after tax season, I said, okay, the money that I make from tax season, normally what I would do is take that money, put it up, and that'll pay my bills for the year. And then I just hustle and grind and whatever for the rest of the year for my extra money. Well, this particular tax season, I said, okay, I'm gonna put $10,000 behind the printing. Right. Just get my printing stuff going. And God threw me a curveball, and I ended up putting it behind CloudPonics, and it was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life so far. Wow.
Well, I want to point something out, and I'd like our audience to hear it, and I hope you see this about yourself. Most people that, you know, the people who work typical 9 to 5 jobs, they go get those jobs so that they can support themselves and their family. But an entrepreneur, somebody like yourself, endeavors to create a business. You're creating a resource to support many families. Yeah. So you are jumping out off of the ledge into the unknown, and you're doing it because you're about to provide an opportunity that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. That was the reason for Truth Lines and Bistro downtown. When I opened it, number one, it was my love for cooking and food and stuff like that. But when I opened it, it was number one, my love for food. Number two, to bring something different to the area. And number three, just to give some people some jobs. Because I like, with CloudPonics, that's my bread and butter. So I didn't need a restaurant, you know, and it cost me money to renovate the whole spot and get it open and stuff like that. I put a lot of money in it. But it was really just, okay, people gonna get some jobs now. And at the time, I think before I sold it, I think I had like 12 employees over there. And with CloudPonics, I got right at 40 employees total. So yeah, you 100% right. Like, it's not all about just me all the time. If I close my businesses, I'm good. But then everybody that worked for me, now they in the bind. You know, so
I find that to be an inspirational part of entrepreneurship, is the concept that I'm doing something bigger than just myself. I'm doing something to create something for my community and for their community and even beyond. And more than that, you're also taking the opportunity to pass on the legacy that your grandparents instilled in you, because you're gonna be able to be Mr. C to everybody who you bring in and train to work under you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to be a mentor too.
Most definitely.
So you're able to pass on not only work ethic, the hustle, but you're also able to pass on the mentality, character, the moral direction that your grandparents instilled in you. So that's powerful to me. That's much bigger than a job, just working for a living. Right. So that, to me, that's an illustration of wealth. That's an illustration of a person who operates from a place of abundance, with or without money. And I think that's very, very commendable. Thank you for sharing your story. That's been amazing. Chuck, would you like to?
No, I concur. We get the privilege of interviewing a lot of folks who have taken a lot of risk and to develop their own businesses and those sorts of things. And at some point, there is that legacy factor, and ideally it should start with their closest. That's your children, your son. You brought him in. Now he's getting both direct and indirect influences, and those influences, they come via you. But you spent half our interview crediting the people who gave it to you. And so even these 40 folks that work for you, maybe they go on to something else at some point. Well, they're going to take it with them, and hopefully they'll have enough integrity to do the same, pass it on.
Most definitely. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
So if you could, first of all, do you consider yourself a leader?
I do.
What's a leader?
So a leader is somebody that can bring people up behind them. Like, so with me, like, let's say that you work for me. I don't want you to stay working for me. I'm going to show you some, give you some game, and then hope that you can push on and go further than where I can keep you.
I love what you just said, because what we define a leader as in our practice, we talk about this all the time. A leader is one who creates more leaders. And that's what you just said.
Exactly.
And you said that all on your own, no coaching, no prompting. That's beautiful.
Right.
And that's what lended itself to your success thus far. And that's what makes me believe you don't have a limit to your potential. Because you're creating a legacy of leadership around you. That's amazing. That really is amazing. Your grandparents have a lot to be proud of in the return on investment that's sitting right in front of us. That is truly amazing. So we're drawn to the end of our interview. Chuck, is there anything you'd like to?
Just thank you for sharing that journey. From that humble beginning. And unfortunately about your mother, but your grandparents were there, and they have maintained, and they have supplied, and to your credit, you received. A lot of times folks are being supplied things. We see it in all of our going back to our childhood and other developmental times, and we see folks reject the reception. And I never understood that. I was like, man, they're giving it to you, but you received it, and then my favorite part, you applied it. And so that's what an excellent influence. And before our show's over today, you're going to have a chance to put that into your own words, and Rob's going to lead you there.
Okay.
So before I ask my final two questions, I have two questions that I close out every show with. Okay. But before I do that, do you need employees right now? Are you hiring?
We are. I'm always hiring.
So how would someone become employed with you?
They can email me at Peasy at CloudPonics.us.
Okay.
Shoot over their resume.
Okay.
We're more so hiring in the Houston area right now than the Golden Triangle.
Okay.
But if you're from the Golden Triangle, just shoot a resume, and I always got something going on.
And are you offering franchise opportunities if someone wants to get into business with CloudPonics?
The same way, they could email me at Peasy at CloudPonics.us, or they can send me a text at 409-434-7068. Because we are, as of right now, we still have those opportunities available.
Excellent. So on a message about your product, okay? If someone out there in our listening audience would like to give your products a try and partake in the relaxation that you provide, where would they find it?
They can go online. if they're in Houston, they can search CloudPonics on Google. If you're in Golden Triangle, CloudPonics on Google, it'll pull up the brick and mortar locations. If you're outside of those areas, you can go on cloud-ponics.com and you can order online, and we get it shipped out to you.
So how do you do you have any kind of satisfaction guarantees or anything like that? What do you tell people when they come in the shop?
I stand behind my product 100%. And I got something, a phrase that I say, even when I had Black Box Media, it just works. Like people was trying to figure out, like, well, how you get all these channels and how you get HBO Cinema, how you get out? It just works. So it's the same thing with CloudPonics. Well, how are you able to do it? I'm getting high and I don't feel the pain no more. It just works. So that's always been my phrase. Like, hey, it just come to CloudPonics. It just works.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did I hear earlier that you said also that there are medical needs for this? Like if somebody's experiencing joint pain, arthritic pain, even cancer treatment, and the side effects and pains that go along with that. Were you telling me that? So
on the CBD side, all that's like chronic pains, anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, cancer, CBD shrinks cancer cells, migraines, like it helps with all that. Now we're not supposed to make medical claims.
You're not making a medical claim.
The DSHS says that we can't make medical claims. I just found that out about a month ago, that we can't make medical claims. Big Pharma don't like that. But I've had that come from customers telling me, you know, my grandmother, she got real bad knees and she used to get something called cortisone shots.
Yeah, I'm very familiar.
And she went from, I gave her the pain cream that we have and she started using it and she was like, I need some more because it knocked the pain out.
Come on.
Because she's not going to do no smoking.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take an edible so bad so I could laugh, but she's too old and she might mess around and get anxiety or something.
Oh, no.
I want to give it to her so bad because I know it'll be funny, but she's too old. But the pain cream, it works. The drops under your tongue. I used to use the CBD drops all the time because I get migraine headaches.
Right. And it works for migraine headaches.
Knock them out.
So two things I hear is, number one, do your research.
Yeah, most definitely.
Prove it. And number two, and a lot of folks who, I take a lot of supplements and, you know, they come from similar companies, you know, it just depends on what it is, but they all use the disclaimer, we don't diagnose, we don't treat, we don't cure.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, and that's, I would say similarly, with the CBD, I can't tell you, if you do the research, you're going to find out what I found out.
Well, just like you just said, it just works.
It just works.
It's not medical advice. It's not a cure to any disease. No. It just works.
It just works.
That's good enough.
Yeah. So y'all have both topical and ingestible.
Yeah, we got it all. We got flower, we got vapes, we got everything.
Topical, ingestible, and breathable.
So we're a full-fledged dispensary. Nice. When you come into any of our locations, you have to have an ID. Okay. Now, the state doesn't have it regulated, so you don't have to be 21, but we move like a real dispensary. So you got to be at least 21 to come into a CloudPonics. You got to present your ID. They put you in the system. They buzz you to the back, just like a dispensary in California, Colorado. Okay. You go to the back. One of the bud tenders will help you to ask you what you're looking for.
Bud tenders.
Bud tenders.
Yeah. If you're there for just recreational purposes and you just want to get hot, and they'll punch you out. If you go in there and say, hey, you know, I've been having a headache, and you know, I teach all my employees. I took a class on it. So when I took the class on it, I learned a lot about the cannabinoid system in your body and the receptors in your brain and all that stuff, and what helps with this and that. So, and I pass it on to my employees. So if somebody comes in and say, hey, I'm suffering with the depression, or okay, we're going to give you a sativa strand to get you up. And if I suffer with anxiety, well, we're not going to give you a sativa strand. We're going to give you an indica strand because that's going to calm you down. Like, so it's like you can go anywhere and buy product, but you can't go anywhere and get the knowledge of the product that you're buying.
Okay. And the proper application for the particular product.
Exactly. And a lot of the smoke shops sell, and I'm not knocking the smoke shops, but the stuff that they sell is not coming directly from a grower. It's coming through all these different hands.
So yours is direct from a grower?
We get direct from a grower. We got 2 growers in Oregon, and we got 1 in California. We get all of our flower directly from them. So it's not going through a middleman or nothing like that.
So you're a direct distributor.
Yeah. Seed to shelf, and then we got
seed to shelf.
So all of our like vapes, our vapes, our tinctures, stuff like that, it comes directly from Florida from a lab. Okay. I've been dealing with them for 4.5 years now. And so I kind of got the upper hand on a lot of stuff because I got in so early.
Yeah.
So everyone who I was dealing with in the beginning, they were the owners of their companies.
Okay.
And they started off when I started off, so they didn't have employees. So I got direct numbers with owners.
So y'all know each other. Y'all are like
so when I
in a circle.
When I go to my supplier, like my guy in Florida, I'm talking directly to the owner. I'm not talking to a sales rep,
right?
Or nothing like that. So I got the best prices. Nobody can beat our prices. I tell people that all the time. You come in and you see something in my store that's cheaper somewhere else, and it's the same product, I'm gonna match or beat that price because nobody can beat my price because I'm dealing with the owners. What I get my stuff for, you would have to buy so much to meet that price, but I'm getting it at that price with a lower volume, a lower MOQ because I'm dealing with the owner and I've been dealing with this guy for 4 years. And everybody besides 2 people that I deal with, I've been dealing with them for at least 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, this has been one of the most educational episodes that we've ever had. I didn't expect to learn so much. I mean, I'm very fascinated. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being our guest. Like I said, I've got 2 questions left that I'm going to ask you. The first of these is, what advice would you give to someone else, a younger person who's thinking they might want to be like you, or maybe want to get into CloudPonics, or maybe they want to be an entrepreneur and you have advice to give them? What might you impart to them in wisdom?
My main thing that I would tell somebody is never give up. Like, no matter how many times you think you failed, never, because you only fail when you quit. Like if you keep going, eventually you'll win. But if you don't succeed and then you quit, then that's when you fail. That's right. That's the only time you fail is when you quit. So my main thing would be never quit, never give up. If you got a dream, chase it until you catch it. My original dream I was rapping, but my original dream was never rap. My friends rap real good, and I just rap good enough to be able to rap. And my dream was to get around the people with the money to be able to do other things.
Okay.
It wasn't to be a rapper. So I still chase that dream to this day, and I've been hitting that dream because I've been around a lot of successful people with a lot of money. So you just never quit. Never quit at the dream. Keep on chasing it and never give up on it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you know this about me, but I started out on the north end, and ended up on the south end.
Okay.
So, as a fellow, young kid from Beaumont, I'm proud. I'm proud of your story.
I appreciate it.
I'm proud of your attitude. I love your outlook. It's very inspirational.
Yes, sir.
So, the final question that I have for you, it's my favorite question. It's how I close every show. If you could go back in time and whisper in your younger self's ear some advice, let's say you're about 17 years old, about to graduate high school, what advice would you give to yourself?
I really wouldn't give myself advice to change nothing that I did, but the one thing I would tell my younger self is put all your money in Bitcoin. That would be the one thing that I would tell myself.
Back when it was like 2 cents.
Right. Every time you make in Bitcoin. And then my younger self would have been saying, fool for what?
What is a Bitcoin?
Don't worry about it. Just put all your money in Bitcoin.
Do what I'm telling you.
That's what I would tell myself. And the reason why that's fresh on my mind is because the crypto been acting a fool.
Right after the election, it went nuts.
It's been going crazy. My portfolio been looking real nice. But that's what I would probably tell my younger self. Just put all your money in Bitcoin.
That's pretty funny. You're the first that's ever said that. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you so much for being our guest today on Pursuit of Purpose. Thank you to our audience. We appreciate you guys allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. Make sure you get by and find yourself a CloudPonics dispensary. And go check them out. Check out their prices and products if you have the need or desire. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we've had with us
Peasy, too easy.
Peasy, the big little Peasy. Y'all have a great day. Thank you very much.